Yes, graduates, welcome to Hard Talk Podcast with HTK. Fasten your seatbelts. Users and subscribers, welcome back to another episode of Hard Talk with HTK. We have a few stories to get through today, but we're going to try to keep it not so long. All right. Now, the first one that we're going to start with is this adorable child, Teon. Teon, you know something, people, when I saw the video that has recently gone viral with Teon, I never realized it was this little boy, this little chunky baby that I used to watch. And I'm like, oh my God, he has grown, him lose some weight as well. So it was difficult for me to recognize him because I used to remember saying, oh my God, he's so chunky, but he was always adorable, right? Loved by the people of Guyana, considered to be the cutest, most adorable little boy. And interestingly, because of the recent video, all of a sudden, people in Guyana are disrespecting this little child. I do not understand how you can look at a baby and call him a scrape, first of all. I found that very disgusting. Now, in case you're not aware of the reason why Teons become a topic, take a look at the full version of the video because you guys are only seeing the small bit that has been circulating on social media. But here is the full length of the video and everything that Teon actually said.
Now because of what make you want to call it with drug deal?
Why?
Drug deal, wow. I not call it with drug deal.
Why?
Because blood sacrifice and so I don't do them things.
So what more am I going to give you then?
Well, he and give justice for the death and so. Plus the PPP going to jail and you, if you the PPP, you are face the consequences and get your boat and galang back home.
Why? I
Why?
can't go back
Because why you come here if you know you're the PPP?
What happened me? Are we singing right here too?
No, you can't live here, you the PPP.
And who
No,
can the stealing?
and who live in this selling?
Are we billing for IDs?
No, you better galang your backside back home. Cause no PPP coming here.
You want to put 2 lash in your ass?
But you lash your mouth.
In your head?
I look like I able. I look like I got the time.
You look like you're mad.
Are you look like you never got no sense.
Why me guys say because I tell you mad?
You want I call it with drug deal, right?
Yes.
Well,
You're fan, not job there, you're fan, the PP.
in front. Well, for me, I would never call it with in front.
Why? You're fan of people? Not one Guyana?
No, he's not people.
He's what?
He's a goat.
You will call the president a goat?
Yes,
Why
I will call you a goat.
Why the police station are right here, you get locked up tonight?
Minky, let lock me up.
So what you gonna do?
Minky, but drug deal.
Why
Spend
you-
my time. Come Minky, ever ball a drug deal.
You calling them a ball, I got scrape head.
And you, talk about a copy what up on your head. You barely even got any hair.
You got? Well, give me some now.
Okay, so the complaints that the citizens of Ghana are making are that this little boy should never ever be involved in political discourse. Everybody's saying Teon needs to hold a child's place. Nobody is happy that Teon is speaking out against the president of Ghana and what they consider to be disrespectful in calling him a goat. Now, some have tried to twist it in the comments underneath the viral video to say, well, goat means greatest of all time. So if that's what he means, there's nothing wrong with that. However, you can clearly hear from the other stuff that Teon was saying was that he didn't mean goat in a good way. Now, I am going to agree that considering that this is now the current president of the country, it was indeed a disrespectful thing to say. But Teon is a product of his environment, and the majority of the rational citizens of Guyana are pointing a blame finger towards the parents, basically saying that this little child is being groomed into this political rhetoric, and they are the ones who are teaching him these things that he is repeating without deep understanding of the impact of his words. How can this little boy be responsible for the things that he's saying? He is a tiny child, and there is no way he can be responsible. So I would implore that people stop calling this little baby names. Stop calling him names because you know what? When he was doing videos like this, y'all never had a problem, did you? Nobody said Teon should stay out of politics business. Because during the time of the lead up to elections, when he was showing his open love for Aziz Mohammed, everybody was like, oh, how cute, how sweet. And you had no negative words to say. Wasn't that a child getting involved in politics?
How are you, sir?
I know all the reason why I love you, bye.
I love you too. Yeah. So how things? Everything good?
Yeah.
You're blowing so hard. Why are you blowing so hard?
That faster than quick.
Huh?
That run faster than quick.
Okay. So how you doing? How's school?
Good.
Everything good at school?
No, today's not school.
No, I know today is not school.
Yeah.
But everything is going good at school?
Yep.
All right.
I don't know. 5 reasons.
5 reasons of what now?
For you be a president. Alright.
So you want me to be your boss anymore?
I want you be a boss and the president.
Yes.
Alright.
So why you want me to be the president now? Let me hear.
Alright. Mr. Muhammad is a God-fearing man. And there will be no more homeless people.
God is too.
And he will be a good leader. And he love and care for all the Guyanese.
Nice. Good job. Yes. I agree with you. Thank you. So everything else good?
Yep.
You saw the video with President Trump and the little boy?
Yes, yes.
You see it. So you want to be a police too?
Yep. That's what I want to be. Yep, that's what I want to be, but my dream will not come true.
Your dream what?
My dream will never come true.
No man, the dream don't come true. Just how President Trump swearing that little kid. We're gonna do it for you, don't worry.
But you could spare me though.
Yes.
And I don't want you to spare me. I just want you to spare me.
You talking about the little boy, DJ Daniel, that was diagnosed with brain cancer? Yes. When President Trump swore him in as an honorary secret agent. So you don't worry, we're gonna swear you in as a police officer.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. But it will still not be like a police.
Yes, it's just like a police.
Okay.
You will be an honorary officer.
Okay.
Yes.
I joined the town police force.
Police force.
Yep.
Don't worry.
But the arm stands for
Huh.
the arm house over there. But
There's a guard hut, security hut.
okay.
Frank, you don't want me to be your boss anymore?
Yep. Yeah. Yep. I want you to be my boss.
So you want me to be your boss or your president?
Of course, I'll do.
Last night the man called, Teon said, Mr. President.
Listen, the parents are the ones responsible for Teon, and they're the ones who would be having these discussions around Teon and bringing him up in this anti PPP environment. He's learning that from the adults around him. So when he is replicating what he has heard and said, it's really those who are in charge of him that has got the issue with the government. Now, in a democratic society, adults are entitled to dislike their leader, and they are also entitled to even disrespect the leader to an extent, right? If they do not wish to see that leader in power, even though they are. People say bad things about leaders all the time. What I question is why they would put their little one on social media making those statements. And shouldn't they be concerned about his well being? Now, the last thing I would like to hear is that Teon is at school and he's being bullied because of the things that he said by children who are equally absorbing the rhetoric that are pro PPP, thinking that he is now on an opposing side because of the terrible things that he has said about the leadership in Guyana. These are the things that we have to consider as parents when we put our children in front of the camera. They are not only representing you, but they also have their own little lives to think about. When he goes on the playground, you don't want to hear that Tiana has been pushed down by a child who is from a PPP family. So be very careful and cautious of the things that you encourage your children to do on screen time. Listen, social media is not for little children. I say this all the time. However, you can't really stop adults from using their children to make content. What you can do is hold them accountable in terms of making sure that they are not negligent, abusive, or exploitative of those children that they use to create content, no doubt through monetization as well. Not because you are earning on social media means that your child should be allowed to be reckless with anything that they say. Think about the long term consequences and how things can impact that child's life as that child grows up. I love Teon, same way. And listen, if people are against the government, they're entitled to do so. The child is probably speaking out based on experiences that he has heard around them. Instead of questioning just that, also look into the fact that the people are disgruntled and may have very good reasons for that. All I'm saying is a little child is not the best representative of adult problems in a political world. Okay, let's move on to the next story. This one has to do with the real Raw Talk. Now, for those of you who are not aware of who Raw Talk is, Raw Talk, she is famous for not only having a lot to say about all of the topics that are going around, particularly in Trinidad, but she's also famous for her outfits. Remember that Raw Talk has a lot of talent. She makes these outfits. Some of them are very out there. And she models them between herself, her husband, and her children all the time. Her husband is often teased as looking as though, blink twice, Robert, and let us know if you're all right, kind of thing, because Robert literally just does whatever makes his wife happy. Anyway, Raw Talk was evicted, people. Let me make you hear what Raw Talk have to say.
So they started to put all my things out by the road. I'm going to switch the camera so they could see by the time being. So all my belongings, everything, they were put off at the wall. They rip off all the decorations in front, everything, and started to rip things off and put everything by the road. They had a truck, a van. I don't know where they was going with the things. And I called my lawyer immediately. She advised me to call the police, even though they were here with officers, to call the station, let the station know what was going on. They sent 3 officers at first who refused to give me their name and the badge number. And then 2 other officers from the station came. They told them that what they were doing was illegal and they have to have stamped documents from a court order to evict anybody, and they were forced to exit the premises. My house is fully destroyed. They pulled down everything from in the house. They unplugged, they threw my TVs by the road. I don't know if anything cracked. They True, everything, it is distressing, yes, but the situation was resolved, and the powers that be, well, thank God I have a good lawyer. All you keep all your lawyer on speed dial. All you keep all your lawyer on speed dial. All you keep all your lawyer on speed dial. So I had my lawyer. She told me exactly what to do. They followed the procedure. The first officers didn't follow procedure. They refused to give the name and the ID number. They refused to tell the people to leave because this is illegal. What they were doing was illegal. And they refused to do it. Second set of officers come, immediately let them know that is illegal. Come to the station on Monday morning, let them review the documents. This is not how you do things. You have to have a court order. You cannot just on a whim say you have a deed. The deed didn't have any stamp on it. All the documents they had was photocopied documents that could just be printed up. All the fake eviction notice, everything was fake documents that they had that was just photocopied, poorly photocopied documents at that. Nothing was original. And this is the state. So they pulled down, they destroyed Robert and his friend, thanks to Matthew, come and trying to put back everything inside. Because I got it under control, because the law is the law. But it is distressful. I had to send the boys by the babysitter because I didn't want them in this drama and to be distressed. So when everything is back inside and comfortable, they will come back home. And so this is what it is. I cannot stay long in the life. I don't know if you all asking questions. Yeah? So it had no notice of eviction. They had photocopies of notices of eviction that they say that they served. But any documents like that would be notarized documents which I would have had to sign. So there is photocopies of just printed dates of 4 or 5 eviction notices that we never received. We never went to court. Well, you know, I just come and talk all the things. It had no court documents. We never went to court to fight for the property, to declare. Nothing like that happened. They just come with these documents that they saying that are legal documents, a deed without the stamp, all of that. They came and they presented those documents and they bullied their way in. They came up with about 15 people and they just started to pack up things in garbage bag, put on trucks. Yeah? Nothing.
Goodness gracious, that must have been so horrific. Imagine just hearing that your things are out on the streets and all these things thrown out. Now, I think it's really important though that we do not jump to conclusions about the reasons behind this. Many people are saying raw talk, you never pay your rent and so on. And because obviously she's a controversial blogger, lots of people are laughing at her downfall. I don't believe in doing things like that. At the end of the day, this can happen to anybody. And let me explain something to you. It is not legal for people to just turn up at your house and throw you out, no matter how much they own the property and no matter how much you may be in arrears with your rent, if that is the case. There are procedures that you need to follow through the court of law before an eviction becomes legally binding. And I do not believe on this occasion those steps were actually taken. So Raw Talk took to her live and actually explained fully what took place. Listen for yourselves.
So good morning again. I know you all have seen all the videos of the eviction and my stuff being put back in. And I'm here to make a public statement with Miss Kiesel Jackson as my witness to say exactly what happened. Oh, just want to put this on side on it.
Put my top side out.
Right. So, approximately 7 years ago, I went into an arrangement, a long-term arrangement with the owners of the property that I am in to have a paid agreement to own the house over a period of time. The owners of the house was best. I was dealing with the son of the owner of the house, and we were paying, and then after we paid for 3 years, then we moved in. We made our 10% of the amount of the house, and then we were allowed to move in and continue paying. Upon moving in, because it was a fixer-upper house, it was not, it had no doors, it had no electricity, it was just a shell of a house that we bought. So we basically bought the land, right? Everything else we put in. When we started, these new people came forward and they started to say we cannot do anything on the house. So I asked them to meet me by the police station. Let us discuss, because I didn't know if it was gangster people. I didn't know what kind of people it was, right? So I told them meet me by the police station. They did meet me by the police station, and they started to ask me about my documents, what documents I have. So I said, no, I am not a mad woman. Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I said, I do not have to show you all anything. I'm not a mad woman to just move in a property, move in a house. I have my documentation. I was told that it was a contentious situation by Mr. Best, and if there is any problems, please let us take it to court. I heard nothing from them. After that time, we have lived there comfortably for 4 years. So that is 7 years now we have been paying. At that point in time, I contacted Mr. Best and told him that these Hamilton people are claiming and what is going on. After that, I didn't hear from him again. Because of that, I had a suspicion, and I mentioned it to Kizel. Remember, Miss Kizel Jackson had a clinic about property and whatever, and I reached out to her. So she said, no, do not pay him any more money if he cannot present documents to you, and that was the end of it.
Let me interject right here, right? For those persons who are watching, because sometimes when your neighbor house on fire, wet yours. So for persons who are listening and who are coming to conclusion without facts, I might tell you all, get facts before you make any conclusion, before you can conclude. So in this case, right, several things could have happened, and allow me to explore all of them and allow your mind to absorb the information I'm giving to you all. So what Aklia is saying is that she went into a long-term purchase agreement with the so-called owner's son. The owner's son indicated to her that his mother died and he was probating the will. To probate a will takes time, sometimes 18 months, sometimes more if it's contentious. When she came to me, this was months ago, not recently, indicating that this is her arrangement, I told her do not continue to pay unless she is sure that this person has the right of title, meaning to say he is rightfully the person to whom she should be paying. Allow him to submit documents to her, because now she would have paid him more than 10% already of the value of the property. Remember as well that these people come in the morning time and they came to evict. Now I asked many questions, and you should ask all these questions as well. 1, were you given prior notice? She said no. Was there a court order? She also said no. But in their defense now, upon what basis could they really evict her? They could claim trespassing, because what these persons are claiming is that they are the rightful homeowners of this property. So then we have to ask the question, who really is Mr. Best? And if this is so, if these are the rightful owners, because there's a list of children, let's say their mother or their father, whoever died and left them with this particular property, and they are in fact the rightful owners of this property, upon that basis, she would not be a tenant of these persons because they had no arrangement. But then she's not a mad woman. She wouldn't pick up herself, her 2 children, her husband, and say, look, house, move in. House, this is house. Let's just move in, right? Let better sense prevail. So for her to go to the police station initially, when these persons would have come forward, is because she too had some documentation as well as receipts to indicate that there was an arrangement between herself and a person claiming to be the son of the deceased owner of the property. Now, for those of you who are looking at this, you could be in a home ownership arrangement. You could be in a tenancy arrangement. You also have to do your due diligence, because it have a lot of people playing smart with stupid things. They come in and they show you a document that is will. They show you documents that is deed. And these documents may not be legitimate documents. So you too, when you are entering, you may be living in a house right now and you're paying a landlord. You sure that is really the homeowner? You sure that landlord is the rightful owner of the property? Until Joan reach. Until Joan come from America and say, hey, I need you all out of my house, so start to pay me money. What you will do, say, well, I was paying John all the time. So we also have to do due diligence in Trinidad and Tobago on these so-called homeowners, these so-called landlord, especially when it have a million children involved, because everybody wants a piece of the pie and claim a form of entitlement. Who is the executor and who is not the executor, and who have the power of attorney and who doesn't have the power of attorney. So for those that are listening and looking on, we have to do better as a nation, because a clear story today could be your story tomorrow. So you laugh today and you are crying tomorrow, because laugh and cry live in the same house. So when you see things like that, try and educate yourself from somebody else's experience. In this case, I mean, it was a sad experience today, because you wish evil on nobody. You imagine she's on work and hearing that they're taking out things of her house, out of her house, her children in the house, her husband in the house. You can imagine the level of trauma on these young ones, because this is the only place that they know as home. Yeah, these are two young children, and this is their form of security. This is the place that they know as home, and being thrown out, being their things thrown out by the roadside, waking up to a nightmare only to realize that they are not dreaming. This is reality. So let us be guided, people. And no, she's not a mad woman. And no, she didn't just walk into somebody's property. And no, this could happen to anybody if we do not learn from this experience. Continue.
So I heard nothing from these apparent owners until this morning. There was no court order. There was no court case. I invited them to take me to court. That was 4 years ago. Silence. They did not attempt to take me to court, so I assume they realized that my documents were accurate. And because they said nothing, I did not see from them, hear from them. Lo and behold, this morning, my husband will say, call me to let me know that it have men and police officers. Now I'm on video call. So I'm asking them, do you have a warrant? We don't have to have a warrant, ma'am. We are here with the legal owners of the property. Is there a bailiff? No bailiff. Don't ask me no questions, and he hung up my husband's phone on me. So I now jump in my car, running down the road, calling the lawyer. Well, I called Miss Kiesel first because she know of the situation from in advance. So I tell her what's going on. She said, I'm getting the lawyer, I'm going to call you now. So I called another lawyer, my personal lawyer, and she said, call the police station. Because what they are doing is illegal. If they don't have a court order, you never went to court, you never saw a judge, you never was able to tell your story or to show documents that this, what they're doing is illegal. I said, they say they have a police with them, have a police vehicle. She said, those are not legal police. Call the police station. So I did exactly what she said. I called the police station. I explained what was happening to them. I also explained that there was so-called police on site. I explained to them about the property, and they came. When they came, they asked everybody to stop touching anything. Don't put down everything, stop touching anything. The workers abided. They started to talk to the men that stated that they were in charge, and that he did not say he was a bailiff. I forgot the name of what he did. He said he was acting on behalf of the legal owners of the property and evicting me as a trespasser. He also had documents that I never received, letters of eviction that I have never seen before in my life. These that we could say for sure is fake documents that they just typed up, because I never received an eviction. I have never been to court. I've never been. So they have about 3 or 4 eviction notices saying that they have served us.
Did you sign any eviction notice?
No,
Did
never.
you sign for receiving anything?
No.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So we have never also, when I spoke to my lawyer, she said we would have had to sign for receiving, what they call it, certified mail? Mm-hmm. Certified mail, right? So I never received these documents that they did not have my signature on it, right? So we had no prior notice of eviction. They came this morning without authority, without authorization. Hence why my things are back inside. Right? So, in all of this, I keep on inviting the so-called owners, these people who claiming that they are owners, to take me to court so we could present our documents side by side and we could figure it out through law. They decided to hire not only a set of gangsters and about 15 of them, but they also hired a content creator to embarrass me. To put it live and to go live because I am the real raw talk, to embarrass me. Right? Calypsos are being made, people laughing.
I don't have the full story. I don't have all the information, but what I am assuming on their part is that maybe that they did probate the will, and probably this is now their property and they are acting upon it. But understand as well that you would have been acting based on documentation that you would have had from a gentleman who was claiming to be, I can't say he is or is not because I don't have all the facts, who is claiming to be the son of the deceased owner, which is Mr. Best. Now, in Mr. Best's case, now remember, I has had my suspicion because when these people came to her months ago, she could not get in contact with Mr. Best. So Mr. Best would have received more than 10% cash payment and Mr. Best went missing. Where is Best? We have to look for better. Getting a mortgage loan sometimes is not quite simple. So sometimes people, to survive, they find other means. And if this is a fixer-upper, sometimes people are much more lenient because they know that the house would not meet the criteria in terms of the level of renovations that is needed. And if you are willing to put out your money, you can come into an arrangement with persons and that is not illegal. What she faltered with is doing her due diligence and doing a proper title search on that property to know who really is the owner of that property and getting a lawyer to find out without taking people's word. And we have to understand that don't take people's word. We have to investigate. We have to get lawyers. We have to do our due diligence. And I am feeling it for those children. Yeah? I'm feeling it for those two little boys. You imagine you lying down on your bed. You went to sleep with the reassurance knowing that all is well. To get up Saturday morning only to see your daddy things being put out. Your mommy things being put out. Huh? Your things being put out by the roadside.
And everybody there may not have been malicious, but some people will, because after the police officer told them to stop touching, stop taking down things, one of the young ladies was on the step. The outside wasn't touched at all, the decorations and stuff, and she wickedly started to pull it off and throw away my African signs. When you all see people on social media and all, they have internalized hate for them for no reason. That is crazy work. Because if you get paid for a job, you still getting paid for your day work, you know. Kizel, if you understand.
Right.
She's still getting paid for her day work. Why you had to be evil and malicious and decide you're going and destroy these decorations on this wall just because you could? Yeah? Because the police already instructed you to put down everything and stop touch everything. That is crazy work to me, that people will internalize hate and be joyful and happy. Look what happened to our talk. And be happy to be a part of it, and was upset when they had to put back the things off of the truck and started to throw the things and destroy my items. So now who is paying for my destroyed items? Who is paying for my TV that to decide that I don't even know if crack up? They just started to throw things without care to the side of the road and were upset when they had to take it back off the truck. So they started to throw things on top of things. They just empty the couch upside down. Rah! Just started to destroy things. And that is so unfortunate. Imagine Jafari going down the road with his bag in his hand because he's so innocent. And he packed a little red handbag and with his toys. And I just wanted to shake and cry because he's like, I have my toys, mommy. He secure his toys and going down the road, Kizel. He just care that he have his toys going down the road. Imagine that. A little child, what did that 4-year-old child do to all you? That this Saturday morning he have to be going through that. He had to pack to secure his toys in a plastic bag. So that his toys wouldn't be thrown away to go down the road with his toys. So that is the situation as is. All you know, I just come and let all you know that is what is happening.
I want to know, where is Mr. Best in all of this? Where is Mr. Best? Where is Mr. Best? Mr. Best, it's time for you to come forward. Where is Mr. Best?
Because the first officers that was there were paid officers, right? And they did not want to.
Were they in uniform?
No, plain clothes, right? So they were paid by the people. Why they didn't do the proper thing, which was okay if you have a legal right to give them the benefit of the doubt, but if you have a legal right to the property, why didn't they do what they were supposed to do, which was go to the police station? This is what the last police who was coming said. And he informed them that if they need to evict me, that is what they need to do. Come to the police station on Monday morning with all their documents from a judge, right? Stamped documents presented to the police. The police will then have to call me and find out what time is convenient for me and let me know they have legal documents for my eviction and make an arrangement. What was done today, whether they were the legal owners, where you giving them the benefit of the doubt, was illegal. Because the way in which they did it was illegal.
So as you can hear, there were clear errors made on her part. Listen, people, in this day and age, not take no verbal agreements as binding. Okay? A lot of us make this mistake thinking that, oh, well, a verbal contract, it is binding. No, it's not. In the court of law, let me tell you something. A verbal contract is worth as much as the paper it's written on. Nothing. You hear what I said to you? People can tell you all sorts. You must get it in writing. So if Rawtalk has documentation to prove that she made this arrangement, then hopefully that will work in her favor should she decide to take legal action against the owners of the building. However, if there has been no legal document that says that these transactions would have led to her owning the property outright, then she is in trouble. At the end of the day, they are going to now have to go through a whole process, these owners, if they really and truly want Rawtalk to leave the premises. If Rawtalk has no documentation, the bailiff will be round the next time and there will be nothing that Rawtalk can do about it if she has not found somewhere else to live. So 10% of a value of a property is a lot. So you can imagine that, she's in a sticky position right now. And like I said, homelessness is not something to laugh about. No matter how much you people are thinking that, well, Rawtalk, she always in a people business and she her business are spoiled. Okay, I get you. But still, think of those two little boys. I think they're so adorable. The way they love their dress up times with their mom and their dad. They are such happy and lovely little children. And I know that Rawtalk is a hell of a mother. Whatever you can say about Rawtalk, you cannot say that Rawtalk don't love her, pity them, and do anything for your kids. So just imagine how sad it was to hear her child saying that, oh, don't worry, mommy, I have my toys. That's heartbreaking stuff. And we have got to show empathy. So anyway, that was the situation with Rawtalk. And, even a neighbor has managed to capture what they were doing. And I think it's important that you also listen to the interaction with the so-called owners of the property. Take a listen to this.
No, you all have a notice? You all have a notice? So you've been recorded, eh? So you're saying that you don't have, you're in the people's house. You're in the people's house, eh? Yeah. We could. You all are on private property. The police right here. It's public. It's a public road. We are free to do that. The police is right here, and the police say they have no eviction notice. That is fine. The police say you have no eviction notice. You never show them any eviction notice. They are here to keep the peace. I am just asking if you all have any eviction notice at all. You all are here on somebody else's property. Taking out, look, this is mine. This chop saw is mine. All you have any right to take off my stuff? This chop saw here. Okay. No, I'm asking you, you have any right to touch that? Well, if the police is here. Good. So I'm going to ask the police now because they're here to keep the peace. Some of the things here are mine. So that is mine. This is mine. All right. Jacob. Robert. Robert, where the children? Robert, where the children? Where the children? So that, and they're taking the bed, everything?
We're not taking nothing. I don't find out what's going on.
So you're putting the bed outside? With the children sleeping on it?
Well, if they wake up in time,
No, man. No, man.
Something. You know
No,
what going on?
man.
You know what going on? You're going live. You know what going on?
I'm not live. I'm not live. It's taping. It's taping and it's sent into our feed, but it's not live. I'm just saying, they have people living here.
So they don't
Yeah, you can't. The children sleeping.
Right, let me ask you something.
The children sleeping. You're going to take the bed.
We're not
While
taking nothing.
no, I'm putting it in the road.
Yes.
While they're sleeping on it.
How the fuck you gonna do that? You stripping?
Well, that is what I hear in here.
Listen to me.
The children sleeping in the bed.
You're a fucking asshole. Don't be an
Uh-huh.
asshole.
Or what?
You see anybody
Or what?
sleeping in bed?
Or what?
Eh?
Or what?
Who you is? He's
Or
a
what?
construction guy?
Good, man. Good.
He's a construction
Good.
guy?
The police say they had to
You
keep the
say-
peace,
let me ask
right?
you something.
I in the public road.
Let me ask you something.
You don't worry
can see
about
a
that.
place- you can see a house empty.
Yeah.
No, you hold on.
Yeah.
No. Let me just
I in
ask-
public
let me just
road,
ask
you know,
something.
and I filming, you know. Them questioning me, you know. Yeah.
So you
What's that?
see a house empty.
This easement, the boundary start there.
No. Let me just say
Yeah.
one thing clear.
No, I'm just making sure the children and the family safe.
Excuse me. I'm sure and family safe you all would have been here. Secondly,
They're sleeping in their bed, you know.
He has a cane, and we're trying to avoid any further injury to the gentleman because we are workers coming here, and I don't feel that he should be infringing on our area.
I could stand up here. I could stand up here. The children sleeping in their bed and they're moving everything out. How they get? When they go and they tell them to wake up the children so they can put the bed outside. Yes, I did.
Right?
Look in front of you. No, you're not showing it. Just show me the document.
I don't need to show you
You see?
nothing.
You see what I'm telling you? How you could come in on people's property without them being home and you even present that document?
So who's Mr. Robert? Who's Mr. Robert?
Yeah. Robert, they show you a document?
Yes.
Look, Robert say you didn't show him a document.
Yeah, he can say what you want. I'll have a recording showing you.
Robert, you take a picture of that document? Right, and it's a lawyer we're talking with right now, so it's not to say I'm doing this on my own, You know Kezel Jackson? She actually lawyer and this is, right, yeah, nice. Yeah, but I have a right to stand up here and film all of this from the public road, From the public road. The public road is boundary started. I got a bill I could tell you, this is an easement and the public road started. If I could stand up all here, this is the public. This is the drain is public. I just build government. I just build government road. I just build drain. I just build easement and pavement. Yeah, the boundary start here, and I in the public road. If you want to take the task, go ahead, man. Because I know it's public. It's public easement. It belongs to the public. It doesn't belong to no private property. The taxpayers just pay for this. But all I'm simply saying, I'm allowed to film everything. I'm allowed to film everything that's going on here today. And I'm doing that. I can't stop nobody, but I could bring it to the public attention.
Now, today was the funeral of Mariah. The 12-year-old, actually, she's 13. They keep calling her 12, and the mother keeps saying that she's 13, who was brutally unalived in Trinidad. So, Mariah's body was first taken to her grandmother's home at Friendship Village, San Fernando, and then to her father's home near the Friendship Recreation Ground, Circle Avenue. And her funeral was held at the St. John's Open Bible Church in Friendship Village. You know, that discovery of that child's body on the 20th of September 2025, alongside a track between her grandmother's home and her father's home, has not left my mind. Now, I do not understand how the rest of the Caribbean remains so silent on this, but I am not going to stop saying justice for Mariah. This little girl was a promising child. She had everything going for her. She was talented at football. And there are still huge questions about the culpability of her parents, particularly her father, who was in charge and in custody of her at the time. How they allowed this little girl to just walk through the bushes to head to another yard is without any adult supervision. This Bambi character who has actually dared to come forward and open his mouth, claiming that he is innocent. And I want you to take a listen to what Bambi has to say in his own defense.
Good afternoon, everybody. Who trying to bashing Bambi while all of the supporters or whatever? I don't think, but I just want to try to clear the air, clear my name, whatever I've been accused of. Right? Yeah, Friday night I watched some cricket by Function Junction there. After the game, we lie by the bar. No transport. We asked three of our people money to pay the truck way home. We didn't get through. A partner of mine, when he leave and he gone home. And I said, well, I go with my mother and I went up there. I went to check him and he just go down. I line with him and stand up plenty time. Yeah. I go on reach my house and I call him. I call a couple of times. I didn't get no response. I have a hammock outside in the shed there. I said, I go bunk out there till the place get thing and I go get a transport to go home. I go back out the road and get a transport. And I just a little while after, well, and then the hammock chilling out there waiting. Man run reach home. Well, I thought he probably was inside sleeping or whatever, but he reached home in the morning. And he said, man, yeah, who is that day? So I said, me, Bambi. Okay. Yeah. So he said, of course, he wasn't cussing me though. He was cussing with the neighbor. He said, of course, up the neighbor and them had a little beef. Yeah. Then the neighbor thing and he want two of them had a cuss out. I tried to pacify him and the thing and cool down things and tell him, why you go inside and sleep and all kind of thing. And after a little while, I got cool down and he gone inside and he sleep. I remained there. Till when I have the exact time, but after 5, 6 somewhere around there, I can't say exact my phone was dead. Otherwise my phone had charged and I called somebody earlier, I want to pick him up. I couldn't have it. I leave the place. I go on my way. Okay. I don't know, I hear all kind of thing about old people see me walking with child, daughter Mariah. I was there. I never meet that child. To tell you the truth, I know the child very well. Child old like my daughter. She said, I have a 14-year-old daughter. I wouldn't like that to happen to my daughter. So I wouldn't do that to somebody. And he had beef in the past, yeah. But I done with Islam, I meet him and online with him plenty times, many occasions. Then my house. He said, people, I am all kind of craziness. And when you check, he saying in some of his videos that he saw he's not adding up. And Ian Allen not picking up on that or what. I don't know what went on. Just because I know why I avoided the police. And just because of that, okay, they've done prosecute me already for the offense. Yeah, when you listen to his stories, he say he come outside that time. He say he come outside after 6, 6:30. He up and come outside. I wasn't in the hammock. Then 1 minute, he can't even remember if I was even there. Somebody behind me and Allen had to remind him, hey, Bambi was there. I don't know. Then when the child mother come out on Ian Allen and telling him all what the child father, where Marlon, the type of person he is, abusive, he was abusive to she and whatever. He said, you come here for that. So what you come there for? You come there to look at the woman telling you about the person, Marlon, the child father, right? You welcome there for that? The woman, the child, Mariah, supposed to go by she mother to go and play football or something. You don't send she. Why you don't send she? When the mother called many times this Saturday, she again shoot you when after whatever you call and the mother asks, where Mariah? You say she by she auntie Betty. Okay. And then after where Mariah? She riding or she playing? Yeah. About after 11, 12, the mother said on so you're showing a Ian Allen and you posted Bambi, you're looking for Bambi. Because no right there with you. The mother weapon, piece of iron and all kind of thing. The woman telling you the child was crying out because she, Mommy take winner, Mommy take winner, Mommy take winner. Why was the reason she crying out for making that cry out? And why he didn't send she together with the other two? You don't want to listen that. You want to hear that. You bypassing that. You want to tell you the man beat up his son. He tried to poison the child. You want to burn down the house with the children. He beat up his son the other day. He beat up that same girl. Last year when he beat up his son and his son didn't have nowhere to go, they're sleeping by a savannah pavilion. But now, I the same man that was staying by. He and his cousin. Right? He beat up the child this year again, recently. And you bypassing all that. And you watching the man playing in grief and that person capable of anything. Somebody try and mother say he go do anything, and for she to come back with it. So if it mean that he had to kill a child or something for she to come back. When she come and she bring back the child, he take back the children, the other children. Here where she keep them. So he see like if he take the children now, here she go come back. She done lost her daughter. You understand? That's how that man thinking and all people are seeing that. Because I avoid talking to Ian Allen, everybody class me. Yes, I never deny I was there. When people call me in the morning or in the evening, Saturday, my daughter calling me, Daddy, they're trying to take Mariah and wherever. And they have to go out by the porn using and them again to it. So I say, well, call my she godmother. Not knowing the child done that already. But my daughter didn't know that, to hear that already. At all kind of different time, he gone with some man after 9 or after 10. And then it's some video they posted with the daughter take out a video with he. Every daughter take out a video with he and with a certain time. Anybody can make a video and back. Well, set the time to suit. Anything possible. The age of technology. Somebody had to remind he I was there. I really don't know what's going on. And I would really like if Mr. Ian Allen could give me a video call and you could tape that and put that on your show. You understand? You're calling up my name, you are the police and all kind of thing. I not and I have my reason why. I don't understand because other kind of try to pin this on me and I know how the system does run. How you class in a day? The police will come, hey, thing, come in now, we just want to talk, yeah. And you don't talk, hey, Lex, this, that. I hear plenty people went to them, I get locked up a couple times, they go watch me and judge me. Say what? I don't care about what all they think. And people judging me on what I never Ian Allen I investigate any matter. A man do a whole autopsy by just watching the body. He telling you where break and where break and wherever before it reaches forensic. And Ian Allen, you just say, well, yeah, I the main person interested because I was there. Yes, but I can't take that charge because I didn't do it. And only facing the murderer right there, I don't know who or what. He have beef with all the neighbors down there. People maybe see me, they know who is me. They hear the name Bambi. They don't maybe don't have a face that until when they pop my bit here. You understand? I just thinking and wondering what really going on. You bypass the whole fact that the child mother was telling you, hey, this man will do anything. And anything mean anything if a person not do anything. He could do that? I don't know. But all the other think back. I would like for the police to investigate that matter properly, not Ian Allen. Let the police do the investigation and question who and who. Right? Or let tamper with the whole crime scene. This one and there and this one find that hole and this that. I watching all the videos. I don't know. Or fabricate a whole story against that person, but they don't try and convict me already. I going to go in a thing. They will lock me up and charge me for that murder. I know. Because many people may be going through the same thing. I know it have people inside the women right now, 8, 10, 12, 15 years, awaiting trial. Some do it, some don't do it. Many of them get charged for the murder and they get thrown out after 14 years, 15 years, or my years. I don't know. It's craziness. And they're going to it. And you know, I know we don't think out my name in the whole wide world. Right? And in Trinidad and Tobago, the justice system not proper, not right. Same thing here, them just want to please the world. Everybody want justice. We want justice for this child. Yes, we want justice. But justice is not just putting the blame on anybody. Justice is finding the person who do it. Do proper investigation. Find the person who actually have motive to kill that child. You understand? Not just, oh, Bambi was it? Bambi. The man even forget I was there. A man, somebody had to remind, hey, Bambi was in the army. The way he was drunk, he come home drunk. I went by because I was tired. I take some drink too, but I couldn't make the walk go around it. Yeah, I couldn't make that walk. So something adding up with them, that side story with my London. You know. Every time he think it has something different. I really want to know if the police investigating that or you understand them just for closure. The DPP, like how the system is, I know the system very well. You find somebody here, you suitable enough to take that charge, you know, Bambi. Yeah. Whether you do it or you do it, yeah. Once you think you're not gonna get a little fame, the police, the DPP thing, bam, investigating officer, whoever, and that is the end of that. The whole wide world pleased because they catch the killer. That's all people want to hear on social media. You know? Yeah, they get him, they hold him. That is how it is. That is how it is.
You see, in my opinion, this man, he should be arrested. And the father. Remember, the father was at his house drunk, drunk out of his mind. That's why he never followed the child anywhere. The child had to go on her own, be her own adult, and take herself home through bushes where they discovered her body. You understand? And this man here was witnessed walking with the little girl. So now he's saying that he never was there. So why did you go on the run, sir? You're talking about you avoiding the police? Because you are guilty. Because if you had nothing to hide with regards to this child being killed in such a brutal manner, you would have presented yourself and proven your innocence. You said you were out liming. You're supposed to have alibi, plenty witnesses. How comes you choose to hide and run away? Anyway, this case is it's such a devastating one. They are claiming that from the autopsy report that her unaliving was due to blunt force trauma to the head. Okay. What we are not aware of is whether or not there has been any kind of essay that took place with this little girl, right? That part is not clear. And I don't know if they're just keeping that quiet, just to maintain some dignity for her. But the father needs to be questioned. And this man needs to be questioned, deeply interrogated, because I do not trust either of them. The story that the mother presented, and if you guys missed that, you can go and watch the live that I did where we spoke about it. It shows that there are a lot of careless ways about all the parents and the family members involved, but a lot about the father is not okay. Anyway, I know that the people of Trinidad are mourning and grieving the loss of this child, and that they have got deep suspicions, particularly about the father and this Bambi character. Let us hope that justice is served for Mariah. Just like how we hope for justice for Adriana, let us be a unified voice across the Caribbean to make a noise for what happened to this 13-year-old girl, how her life was cut down short by some ruthless being who is still at large. So let's go into this failed coalition between Vpac and Ananza. Boy, I am telling you, you know, this is the kind of thing that will cause people to make stereotypic comments about Black people, that we are incapable of handling power. Because what I see here is some petty business. Honestly, it's petty to me. I don't know if you guys have a different opinion, but to me, it is trivial. And that all of this fighting that's going on social media really ought to happen behind closed doors. That's my opinion. Now, do you believe that this lady actually double crossed the coalition or not? Please let me know in the comments. Because Anansa seems to me to be one of the most capable of the coalition to actually take the lead in parliament. Now, okay, it may have been a verbal agreement. You know what I said before about verbal agreements? That they would rotate the seat. A very strange situation that indeed. I don't see why you have to have so many heads um in one coalition. Why can't it be led by one person who has got the experience, the authority, and the know-how to actually take the lead? Now, interestingly, I found this picture to be a little bit telling of the chairperson of VPAC. This man, to me, has come across as being particularly narcissistic in how he handles things. Every time I look through the VPAC page, I don't really see community taking the lead, the people of Ghana taking the lead, actions of VPAC taking the lead. I hear me all over my page talking about, oh, he was a little destitute boy in Berbice and he's now become a this and a that. And okay, that's wonderful. It's a success story. It's all great, but it's nice if other people actually say it about you. You know what I'm saying? So I get this kind of lack of humility from him. I don't really draw to personalities like that, but hey, he may be a good person. I don't know. It's up to you people in Guyana to make the determination about that. But I'm looking at professionalism. I'm looking at if I'm seeing a true humanitarian spirit coming from what VPAC stands for. And you know, there has been other occasions when VPAC has kicked off with its female members. I don't really want to bring that story up, but remember the past Miss World lady who was there. I don't want to call her a name because I know that she pulled out of VPAC and she actually said she did not want to be a part of VPAC anymore after an embarrassing video was leaked of her swearing, effing, and blinding at somebody who was threatening her life. So I'm not going to go down that road necessarily, but I'm saying that even when she asked the chairperson to, you know, to step back completely and to leave the party, he still put it forward that she was very much a part of VPAC and she had to actually come in the comments and say this, blatantly saying, listen, with all due respect, I have asked to step down. So, you know, in other words, stop trying to bully or cajole me into still being a part of something I no longer want to be a part of. And that shows me narcissism, a disregard of his female, you know, member. So, you know, this guy, even how he is positioned himself in this picture, kind of shows me that he believes that he ought to be the leader. He ought to be the leading voice of this coalition. He plunked those other two to his back, right? So yes, Nigel London did come out and defend everything that Anansa stands for, and he received some clapback from VPAC member. So the person who clapped back was Francis Michael Bailey. Now, some of you may be familiar with Francis for his fight for justice for Adriana Young. Francis has always presented himself quite intelligently. He has always been very clear with what he wants in terms of justice for Adriana. He has never faltered from that fight. So he had a lot to say in response to Nigel London, and to Amanza Walton Desir as well. So take a listen to the key bits that I have pulled out because it was an over an hour long video. So I've taken out the significant things that he has said, that he claims to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. He wanted to talk quite openly about what's going on with VPAC and the FGM coalition. backed by his brother's recorded evidence and his own experience. He is pointing a finger of duplicity and dishonesty, claiming that they are a scourge upon the nation of Guyana, and he needed to reason why that was. Let's take a listen. If you have made it this far into the video, please do not forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe button and click that bell, especially if you're new to my channel, so you are notified whenever I drop a video. Okay, this is your girl, Head Teacher K, but we're going to just listen to this as we sign off.
They don't believe me when I say I am just as confused as them. They don't seem to believe me. So I come to explain myself why I am just as confused as you. Right? I saw in the papers today, I saw Stabrook News headline, Forward Guyana Movement, thing, blah, 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 squabbling over a seat. This is no squabbling. Do you see Francis here squabbling? I'm talking, right? But there is squabbling apparently over this seat, and it's being cast as this big dirty fight, guys. So some people saw the statement that Vpac issued, and they thought that maybe Vpac is trying to bully Amanza, right? Where Amanza is on a live saying Vpac is threatening her, right? And she feels like, it sounds like she's in danger or something, or like this is about fighting against women, fighting down women. Man, okay? Now, I could have had a full seat with at least 2 different parties, because different people try to get me to join their parties. I could have had a full seat right now in Parliament. I chose to throw my support behind Amanza Walton. I was part of Vpac, and everyone in Vpac chose this, right? We chose her as the presidential candidate. First off, we got to go before the time where Vpac became persona non grata, before this period here where we talking about rotating the seat. I put up a post the other day called Amanza Kisoon 2.2 loading, and people was like, oh, Francis, but no, I was speaking the truth. It's loading, right? Like broadband type, like it loaded practically, right? I was making an analogy. So let's go back a little bit. For anybody that's in doubt, because I'm hearing now that Vpac should be denied this seat because we didn't do much and we weren't there on the campaign trail. So let's speak about when this campaign trail started. So many months before Amanza Walton decided she was going to leave the PNC, Vpac was already on the ground. They were already campaigning. We were already going into communities, highlighting projects, right? We're already in campaign mode. This is long before Amanza decided she's leaving. Vpac started with the aim of bringing together a grand coalition of parties, as many people as we could bring together. Darwin's not had no attachment to being a presidential candidate. He had dual citizenship. He had the option of giving it up. He had no attachment to it. We had that seat as a vacant seat. We were trying to build a ledger of people that the public wanted. So we selected from our favorite politicians. We took from crowd favorites. We took from the opposition party, blah, blah. And we put together a list. We published like 2 of these lists. We put together a list. It included Azruddin Mohammed. It included Aubrey Norton. It included Amanza Walton. It included Terence Campbell. All the popular people on the opposition, Nigel Hughes, all these people, Simona Brooms, everybody. And we asked people if they liked it, right? People indicated they liked the list. Some people assumed we already formed this grand coalition. We were projecting our intention. So with that now, we started making contact with different camps. I was more in contact with Azruddin's camp because since the PPP were targeting him, I had gone down. There was one time he was arrested, or he was at his station in La Penitence. I went down there. There's that interaction that was filmed between myself and the Amir Ahmad, right? There was an interaction that was filmed down there. But so I was in interaction with Team Win. He had indicated beforehand that, yeah, he's thinking of forming his party. He wanted me on board with him. I thought it took too long. Yo, I come for talking me story. Anybody vexed with me today, it vexed with me, but I speak my truth today, right? So he wanted me to join on with Team Win. I didn't sign on. It took too long for me to, I wasn't getting any answers. Who on this team, when you're starting. So coming out of what happened with Adriana Young, I really wanted an investigation into that. It came to my mind, the only way we can have any investigation is if the government changes. The same people in there, do you see any investigation? So I determined I would do everything in my power to make sure that an investigation happened. Because I don't want in 20 years to be rocking back and it's sitting on my conscience that I didn't do enough, that I could have done more. So I went to the fullest extent. And for me, that meant joining some political force, some political party. I'd already covered ad nauseum why I didn't want to team up with either PPP or PNC or APNU. So I wanted to go somewhere in the middle. I liked what Vpac was doing. I was already involved in the foundational phases when Darwin was forming the party. I was one of the people that he was in contact with. But I didn't want to join Vpac at that time because I thought Darwin had too much of his ego in it, right? And I was honest with him about that. Later on, as I got to know Darwin, I realized he didn't have his ego in it. He did genuinely want to serve people. We aligned on a lot of principles. So we started working together. I joined Vpac. I had meeting with Nigel Hughes. We spoke with Simona Brooms. Well, I didn't agree to join her party. I don't know if that affected us being in a coalition, or maybe she knew things we didn't know about the person we did end up joining with. We were in contact with Glenn Lyle's team. Yo, for the people that come to me and be like, oh, why y'all didn't try? I was there trying hard. And for the people say, why you didn't try harder? Why you didn't come and help? If they got things going on in the opposition, I got to talk about it as well. If it's going on in my own camp, I have to talk about it. Accountability is not conditional. Transparency for me is not conditional. I got to speak across the whole divide. Otherwise, we will be blind to the fact that corruption exists all around us and not just localized to certain quarters of our society. We must be honest, if anything else. So, join up with Vpac. We still trying. Everybody at some point we realize, okay, they got like 6 major egos in the room here. These whittle down to these people don't really want to come together. As they don't only want to absorb people. He don't want to work with nobody. APN, you want people join them as well. AFC, well, they wanted a certain percentage because they lounge. It was very, very disappointing. I said, okay, let's go ahead with this. I tried my best. But Vpac initiated the contact or the collaboration we had with Nigel London and the People's Movement, right? We started cooperating, talking. I know definitely over the Adriana Young case, I became more aware of Nigel London's content. I considered him a decent man, right? I think still think he's an intelligent man. He's very articulate. And Amanza Walton, I told you guys many times, was one of my favorite politicians over the last 5 years in Parliament. So I was very happy to support a woman that projected strength in her intelligence to get to have another shot in Parliament. I was very happy to put my weight behind that. So Vpac, initially, this is when she was still a part of the PNC, right? So it surprised me to know I'm hearing voice notes with threats being leveled against myself and Dorwayne from people in Forward Guyana Movement that like a few weeks ago I was hugging at a campaign event where I was speaking like, hugging these people. Treachery, the hilt of a dagger sticketh out of my back. Right? A big dagger sticking out of my back right now. So she didn't think she would take much votes in Georgetown. She didn't want to go out on her own. So we're talking, okay, listen, we're trying to form a coalition. Why you don't come with us? You could be our presidential candidate, Amanza. The seat is available. We offered it to Azudin. We offered it to you. The people that we think are most popular and might have the most social clout going forward. We're happy for that. We're going to support that. But then we're going to form a coalition, right? So that was an agreement even before she left the PNC. So then Amanza asked me, Francis Bailey, the person now that she don't want to get the parliamentary seat. Under no circumstances must Francis Bailey go to parliament, apparently. Right? There's just somebody very trustworthy came back and said that she would have said to them, under no circumstances. This was said today, but at that time, Amanza came to me. She didn't want Darwin to do it. She asked me in my life, and I can go back and find the live and do a compilation of these things, right? She asked me if I could do a live, kind of to do a little feeler for her talk, because she told her she was being sidelined in the PNC and Aubrey treating people bad, and she doing these meetings with the diplomats and setting up all these. She rebuilt the relations between the diplomatic corps and the PNC, and she did it single-handedly. And then Aubrey's go to these meetings and exclude her and leave her out, and you paint a very bad picture of Aubrey, like treating this woman bad and everything sound bad. That I done on behalf of Vpac to have these guys here in the room. She just didn't seem bothered. Oh, well, Glenn. And she come back and say, well, he don't want to participate unless he get the presidential role. And then Azudin, she didn't really want things. She said the Americans kind of said she shouldn't go with Azudin, or basically they didn't give her a nice reception when they asked her if she's going to partner with Azudin. So she seemed to be wanting to do what the Americans want and not to partner. She didn't seem too keen on partnering with people. That disappointed me from go, because that was our whole objective. By the time the thing whittled down, we were at. And then AFC as well, right? I talk with all these principles. It just fell through when it got to Amanza's hands. I said, okay. Some people didn't want to work with her. A lot of people call us to warn us. Said, okay. I put my faith in this lady. I didn't see nothing corrupt about her to say that it's a corrupt person or whatever. All hearsay. I put my faith in this lady, right? And I figure a lot of people calling me to try and they're trying to scuttle her move from the PNC. So I put my trust in Amanza, right? So we're working along. Now, I would say the campaigning started before we were in communities. At time we went to Linden. We called Nigel London to come and join us on a live. I'm sure thousands of you saw that live. Another time we called Teon Jabur. He was part of Anug. We were also trying to negotiate collaboration with Anug as well. They decided to go with Win. Another time, you will remember, I went to the Garcia Shore, went with Sherrod. What was Vpac doing? Visibly on screen, we were pulling people together. We were showing you, look, Vpac like me with Anug today. Today, Vpac, well, Kian is in the middle, but this is what you represent to people when they see it, right? Today, we line with Sherrod from APNU. We invited people from the PPP. Nobody never want to come, right? And then we went up to Linden. We invited Nigel London onto our platform. Here we are with the People's Movement. At every point, Vpac championed and pioneered collaboration and cooperation. So here in the present now, you're hearing you can't trust Vpac. We can't give them their seat. We cheat them out of the piece of seat what we promised them. And they didn't do nothing. They were nowhere on the campaign trail. We didn't see Francis and Darwin. People who walked the streets, right? Vpac was in the streets till midnight, sharing out flyers and begging people to vote. All of a sudden, because we weren't with her or her team, we had an agenda. It was clear as three parties working together that come together to form this thing. And we went to see how much we could get. A 5 fingers a seat in Parliament. And before we went and get this 5 finger, we said, well, whatever 5 finger we get, we're going to divide it equally. How much ever we get, we're going to divide it equally. And me and you go when we get a 5 finger. You see me? Even one 5 finger, if me and you agree that we splitting it equally, and I like taking it down to rice grain. If it was one rice grain, this is how I grew up. If we made an agreement to share whatever we get equally, and we have one rice grain, I will split that rice grain down the middle. I will give you half, and I will take half. Sometimes I might even give you a slightly bigger half. And then we shall use the energy we derive from those half rice grains which we have consumed in good faith in pursuance of more rice grains together. Now we will have the energy to collectively pursue more grains of rice. People on the outside will look in and say, you know what? Those guys stuck to their agreement. They said they would share the rice grain. It was one rice grain. But how noble. They divided it in half and shared it like good human beings. But I'm like, we're a coalition now. How do you guys want to handle the fundraising element? Do you want Vpac, the People's Movement, Forward Yan Movement, to do individual fundraising? Or should we do collective fundraising where we send all the donors to one location? Well, they want one location. Amanza's team is who provided the Zelly link and the account link, and all the money went to Amanza team, right? So we just get a link. I share. You already see the link on my lives. I share it on my page. Darwin shared. Everybody share this link to channel all the money in one direction. Now, you boy had to open a big mouth on a call and talk about transparency. I had to talk about transparency. And from early on, I said, how are we going to structure this? Where is the account going to think? Who's the signatory? How are we keeping it accountable? We need to know what's going in and what's coming out. That's basics for me. Okay? I am not that person, and maybe side might have disappointed some people in this election cycle. I am incorruptible. I don't need nobody money. You understand? I don't want nothing. I have the clothes on my back. I have light. If I don't have light here, I go outside and I smile. I'll get light. Or the moon, I get sun. I have food. If I don't have food, I know how to grow it. If I don't have sugar, I have bees to go and get honey from. You understand? I don't crave things like people crave things. I see it differently. So that never shine my eye. All I want to know is that I am doing as I want others to do unto me. And if I demand transparency from my leadership, if you hear me here going blue in the face, talking about corruption in the PPP and how they're spending and wasting we money and who didn't thief we money and blah, 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 and they can't account for this and the gas social project, I was there telling you I was like nearly $2 million US. God, I can't tell you where it was. I see they start back the project very soon after that. If I'm there, what y'all think is only outside, you think is only the people. No, I'm concerned about in my camp. It must start to say charity starts at home. Transparency starts at home. If you are out in public saying you don't like corruption, it starts at home. Those things start at home. Honesty starts at home. So when I had that conversation, which I thought was pretty run-of-the-mill, the very next day, you might get kicked out of the group. I get kicked out of the main group. Then Amanza put your sister for call me for tell me how you know now they have a group of principals. There was the term principals. They're like the main bosses. It was this hierarchical structure suddenly got created, and I was out of it. Now I was shunted off into a media group. They had a fan out group. They had a next group. So they put me in every other group, but the group where I could continue my crusade for transparency and accountability. I pointed it out. I noted it. I kept my head down and I kept putting out ads and generating content and helping with the campaigning, right? And on the call to get people involved. So at some point, I started running low on funds, right? So I let Darwin know, I let Amanza know, I let Nigel know. I said, yo, I am not going, and I dare Amanza to say any different. Come and lie on me, please, right? So I informed these people that coming up closer to to election time, I said I'm going to have to go back to work at some point, right? I said I got to rebuild my spenny. I can't leave myself like in the red. I got to go back to work at some point. I got all these appointments and stuff. Plus, September time, you're coming into the time of year when you have the most bee attacks, right? So I was like, This time here, y'all gonna take front, and I gonna be generating stuff and pulling people in at home. I gonna do lives and go and like my walkabouts. Now y'all know you buy on the streets for years, okay? Darwin and I was on the road for months. Amanza then came in, right? Nigel was doing his thing in Linden. They were saying, Amanza did say that she didn't really expect to pull many votes in Region 4. She thought Region 10 was wide open. That's words she used. She thought it was wide open, and between her and Nigel, who were from Region 10, they would have get thousands of votes. That's what they thought, right? They probably pull about 600 and something votes from Region 10, being honest. So we chose that Amanza would be presidential candidate, Nigel would be prime ministerial candidate. Well, instead of making me leader of the list, Amanza made me deputy leader of the list and told me that basically to send people to parliament, blah, 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 it got to be both of us making the decision. So I went ahead with it. Darmain was chairman of the movement when we formed this coalition. Then afterwards, I realized you better get lighter, because when I go and check the law say that the only way I have any power as a deputy leader of the list is if basically all the things is things I would never wish upon somebody. You got dead, become incapacitated. Those will happen to the leader of the list before I could send or remove anybody. Me want that happen to Amanza, but she know what she was doing because she's a lawyer. She's a lawyer. So we made her presidential candidate. She made herself leader of the list and tell me, oh, Vpac, y'all have something. And then we agreed we're going to split the time equally in parliament. Okay. Now, for the people that say, and I see somebody post yesterday, I believe Amanza should have had 100% of the seat. Well, that was not our agreement. And I want to respect, say, for the people that believe that, I want to respect and acknowledge your own sharing is caring. So that's what I expected. So it took me by surprise after the elections wrapped up. And now I'll speak to this as well. So you would have seen Forward Guyana Movement ask questions of GCOM and then bringing up these things about election rigging. Who y'all think will in the background doing election rigging investigation and feeding tons of information to Amanza? Who likes digging? Y'all know any B-man that like researching things? Right? So me and the team at Vpac is who been spearheading that for the movement. But took all of that, put it in a question. I just see Amanza's picture there. And, I'm thinking it's a coalition. I'm just seeing a lot of Amanza. I didn't say nothing. You understand? If at some point they didn't come and address this, it would make me dishonest. Because if you're sitting in something and you realize somebody acting shady, contrary to how they're projecting themselves to the public, and then the public is like, yeah, there's a good person. And now you know better. As someone that came, remember, go back to my lives. I came here and I promised you from the very beginning, I will maintain an honest relationship with you. I will maintain it through thick and through thin. If I mess up and all, I will come and speak about it. And I expect you guys to hold me accountable. If something I have done wrong, you come and say, Francis, you did this wrong. You could have done this better. You mess up here. I am not above apology. I've never been above apologizing or correcting my actions, taking accountability. So I expect it from other people, especially those in positions of leadership. I'm not painting anyone else with a brush I would not be willing to give you to paint me with if I had done something wrong. Okay? Accountability is important. So we gone ahead now. We got the one seat. Everybody happy. We know we had this agreement going into it, right? Now, I had been warned. I can say Teon, right? Teon did warn me. Teon's like, hey, make case you don't get another Ashke soon. Make case, right? Somebody don't decide they're going to grab it. I said, nah, man. We actually had an agreement. We have an agreement going on. I said, no, Amanza would never do that. Nigel would never do that. I would never. I tell you that. Y'all go. I wish Teon was in this. I wish Teon was in this live so I could ask Teon to just relate to y'all, he warned me. A number of people warned me. I said, we have an agreement and Amanza would never do that. I vouch for it. I felt I can't even articulate how disappointed this has made me. Right now, we're supposed to be already announcing plans, getting into local government mode, building on the momentum that we work night and day to build during election season, consolidating, working on our finalizing the constitution and cementing those bonds of those fraternal bonds that we made. Amanza called me and she's saying that, like a unilateral decision. I've been thinking that it would be good to maintain my ties with the diplomatic community, and I have, because she does think herself the darling of the diplomats. She want to do it from inside Parliament. So she told her, I want to maintain these relationships and I have more experience. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to go for 3 years and Nigel going to go for 2. Well, I did maths, I did maths. And I also know about when maths is not mathsing. So let me do quick maths. 1, 2, 3 years plus 1, 2, 5. So where Vpac there? Where we there? I say even I get 1/3 of the time, a year and a half, I'm going to give Nicholas at least 6 months out of that time so he could get a little experience as well. Everybody could get a first time and season ourselves a little bit and get a little feel for the space. So when we come back for the next election, we come back stronger. Everybody has a better idea. And if I was Amanza, if I had any conscience, I would have tried and coach new people and try and pave a way to coach the young'uns, the green donks, because I self-confess green donks. I don't think anyone can say I'm not articulate or capable of standing up and speaking for hours without a script. I can do that. So it saddens me to think or even contemplate somehow try and ditch that arrangement so they put themselves in some duty-free window. Who's the man? And then she said we can give Nigel London 2 years. Now, with all the respect I had for Nigel London, I think a man, a preacher at that, a man of God, would be an honorable man. I know what book my brother is reading from. And Nigel did say to Darwin, well, man, I can't do that. That didn't sound right, blah, blah, blah. And he said he gonna give Francis a year. Said it to Darwin, right? And all of a sudden now, they all have the most reasons that Vpac, and especially Francis Bailey, should not go to Parliament. So for those of you that have the misguided idea that Vpac are arguing about seats and money, no, we're arguing about principles. We're arguing on principle.